All right, can everybody hear me? Let me know in the chat if you can hear the audio okay. I think it's good. I'm not having any internet issues today. It's great. No drop frames. We should have a fantastic 1440p stream with no interruptions if everything goes well. Lower that a little bit. Make myself a little larger. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so this is the final live stream of Engineer Man Season 2 live streams. So it's been a really great session. I'm glad we did it the way we did by pre-planning all the content and then doing it all at once. So I thought that was kind of cool. We'll do the usual. I'm gonna do some channel update and announcement type things. If you have any questions today, and this is the final stream, you can ask a question about anything. If it's about me or about code or Python, JavaScript, whatever you want. Feel free to put that in the YouTube comments. Actually, I haven't enabled, one moment. I just need to enable my stream stuff. Field stream load. Perfect. Okay. So now you can use the Q colon question or question colon to get your questions to me quicker. So if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat and it will get pushed over to my Discord and I'll be able to answer them as they come in. So feel free to ask anything you'd like. I'm going to cover some of the channel updates and announcements and then we'll get into some Q&A. And then as you know, this is fan project review day. So I have a bunch of wonderful projects that were sent in over the last like 3 months. I think a total of a lot actually. 14 or 15 projects, and we're going to try to give each project about 3 minutes is about all we'll have, and that should go about 1 hour. And I'm doing them in the order that they were sent to me. So if you sent me your project in the very beginning, then it'll be first in line. If you sent it at the very end, then it'll be last in line. I thought that was the most fair way to do it. So for the announcements, as you know, there is a new slogan for the channel. I mentioned it the other live stream, but I wanted to mention it again. The new slogan for the channel, which it used to be arranging zeros and ones in the exact right order, I've changed it to engineering communicated with unparalleled clarity. And I thought that those 5 words represent exactly what this channel is about. You know, this channel has always been about delivering very clear, crisp, concise info to the people that watch it without any nonsense. No fluff, no ad interruptions right in the middle of the video, no weird product placements, no nonsense, just no big intros, no superfluous content, just straight to the point, exactly what you want to get. Everything you need to know, nothing you don't need to know. And that's kind of what it's been. And communicate in a way that people understand. So I thought that represented what we're trying to do on this channel, and so we've changed it thusly. So first question, where am I from? I am from Florida in the United States. Can I have your babies? I mean you can't, but I suppose somebody can. It's a good question though. Okay, so we have stickers for sale, Engineer Man stickers. They've been out now for a little bit. I got a batch of 300. I've given away / sold probably 270 of them. So there's a few left. If you want some, it's going to be at emkc.org/stickers, and I will put that question. I'm sorry, I'll put that link in the description after the stream. Yeah, the bug bounty. I'm going to answer that here in a second. The 300K video is coming. I swear it's not a meme. I know you probably think, oh, you've been talking about a 200K video forever and a 250 and you never deliver. And you're right. And I just want to go over kind of what happened there. So I produced a 250K video. I recorded all the content. We edited the stuff up, and it didn't come out the way I wanted it. It was a video. It was supposed to be about me, but it occurred to me that everybody already knows a lot about me. You know, I talk about my background on stream. Of course, people have interacted with me since the beginning of this channel on Discord, since I had 8,000 subscribers. And so you already kind of know a lot about me, and I realized that this video was going to be just a rehash of stuff that people already know about me. And it didn't come out well. It didn't fit right. So what I did is I trashed it. I got rid of it. I couldn't go forward with it. So I do have a brand new idea. I have all the script. It's all done. I got an audio guy ready. I got an editor ready, and I just need to do a little bit of the recording, and then it's going to be great. It's not about me. It's about something completely different, but I think it's going to be a really good video. It will be ready for 300. We're at about 282. It'll probably be 45 to 60 days to get that last 18,000. But once that's done, we'll release that video, and I think you'll really like it. It's like nothing you've ever seen on the channel, and it's not about me, so it'll be good. And the last thing is Advent of Code. Of course, we've wrapped that up. Thanks to everybody who participated in Advent of Code in varying degrees. There were a bunch of people who finished it entirely through, and I think a total of like 60 or 70 people joined and did at least one challenge, so that was good. Next year, hopefully we can raise those numbers up, but I've already reached out to the top 3 people to send them sticker packs and whatnot, but I'll be reaching out to some of the other people to send some free Engineer Man stickers to you, so be on the lookout for that. The problem is I'm having a problem resolving the Advent of Code username to the Discord username, so that's been somewhat challenging, and that's the only issue with contacting those people. So if you participate in Advent of Code, please have a look at the Advent of Code channel. I'll be giving additional instructions there on how to get those sticker packs. Oh good, EM stickers arrived. Nice. Yeah, I think I sent those to you about 40 days ago, so it took quite a while. All right, let me see here. Yes, thank you. Long-time supporter, long-time stream attendee, and one of the top people on Advent of Code. I'll be mailing your sticker pack out here shortly. Thanks a lot for the 20. I really appreciate the support, and you coming here for all the streams and being on Discord. Thank you for that. What do you think about bug bounties? A person like you can easily make $1 million in a year. So maybe not. I think bug bounty programs are good. It's just you got to have the right skills. You know, I've been programming a long time, but I'm not super good at like uncovering exploits in programs that don't deal with kind of the stuff that I deal with. You know, like typically I'm a web developer, and so I know things that would be vulnerable to certain things, but usually bug bounty programs are I don't know if they're typically web applications. I think they're often looking for, well, I guess they are. But I don't know exactly how much you can make from bug bounty programs, but of course they're good because they reward people for finding bugs, and they incentivize this idea of, you know, essentially selling it to the companies so they can fix it instead of selling it on like a black market kind of thing, you know, for people to go use it for nefarious purposes. So I think it's good. I think it needs to be there. Have you read The Art of Electronics? I haven't. Would you recommend it to someone who's learning electrical engineering? I haven't read that, so I don't know if I can make a recommendation. If you have a link for that, certainly send it to me. I'd love to check it out. What is your major job? So I don't really work anything major. I do primarily oversight and development of certain projects, mostly the oversight stuff. You know, I've been doing this like a really long time. So where my value is most used is making sure projects don't get all screwed up. You know, making sure that an idea can go from an idea to a finished product in a reasonable period of time, and then leading teams, you know, a team or teams to help, you know, bring that stuff to fruition. That's kind of where that's where I can be most helpful these days. So that's primarily what I do. I got a couple. It's mostly just side work, you know, but it's people that I've been working with for a very long time, and we do a lot of work for that stuff. But I don't have any, you know, I'm not in the corporate game or anything. I'm not like, I don't work at Google. I don't have a corporate job. I don't have a 40-hour-a-week job. It's It's kind of just whatever I want to do. Can you bring a good boy on stream? If I could find him. Yeah, next time he's over here, I'll drag him over here. I have no clue where he is. He's probably on the couch. Let's see if I can get him. Yeah, he doesn't want to come right now. He's napping. He's being stubborn. But if he comes over here, I'll drag him on stream. Can you do more Python tutorials? I know that's been asked a lot of me. If there's going to be another Python series, I do want to do one, just not right now. I'm really enjoying doing a variety of topics. And when I did my last poll and asked people, well, what do you want to see on the channel? It was overwhelmingly that we enjoy the variety. It's not too much variety. It's the right amount of stuff. Like right now, I mostly make videos based on whatever I'm working on at the moment. So not like discrete projects or anything, but if I'm using kind of a specific tool at a particular point in time, then I think to myself, you know what? I bet I could show this on in a video or somewhere, and then people can benefit from it. So like recently I did an OAuth 2 integration, and I thought to myself, you know what, that'd make a fantastic video. And then of course for the Christmas thing, I was like, you know what, I'll make a cool little Christmas tree, multi-thread and whatnot, and I'll do that. So I'm trying not to do series. I did a Rust series, but that's just because Rust is kind of new, and I thought that would be something cool to do. So that's why I did that. But series, they don't perform really great. So I'm trying to stay away from that if I can. But in short, you can expect more Python tutorials, but maybe not like specifically like a Python intermediate or Python advanced, but certainly I do things related to Python. Even the Christmas tree project, that was written in Python. So, I'm constantly doing things in Python, just maybe not, an actual Python series. French Fruits. Hello, Father. Have you thought of doing fun home automation stuff? I connected my Philips Hues to my local public transit API to warn me when to leave. Fun little 50 lines. Yeah, so home automation is something that I'm very interested in, and there's a couple staff members on my team who are also very interested in it. In fact, one project we're going to see is I'm actually going to roll somebody's garage door up and start their car from here in my office. So that's one kind of home automation thing. We'll be doing that up. But yeah, I am definitely interested in that. I think it'd be. I know I was going to work with Adafruit on some various things that they had offered me some free hardware, and I was going to make some videos out of it. I just never got around to it. But I do intend on doing more of that because programming is not just a Python script. There's other things to do with it, and as you saw before, I broke apart my smart plug to kind of get inside that to try to figure out what was going on with it, and I think we could do something cool with that. So yeah, I think definitely expect some stuff like that in the future for sure. Where do you give the most channel updates and announcements? I actually do it right here. This is primarily where I do all the announcements. Okay, I'm gonna try to get through some of these. About one more minute on questions, and then we're gonna jump into some projects. And each project is gonna get about 3 minutes. I'm gonna try not to go over, otherwise we'll be here forever. And then I'll do a very short Q&A at the end if we have time. My favorite project of this or in general? What is your Python software? I'm guessing, well, I use Python 3 now, and I use Atom Editor to compose my Python code. Okay, so let's actually move on to some of the projects. I can already see we're slipping on time, so let me kind of get moving on this. Okay, so we got a lot of projects. Some of them, I got some really good submissions, and a lot of them are different. I got some games, I got some utilities, I got just some, excuse me. I got some just plain, interesting stuff. I got some physical development. I got a couple distributed databases, which I think is amazing. I got just some unique stuff. So we'll go through each of these and check them out. If the project had a GitHub, I've supplied the GitHub link, and I'll try to put that in the description as well. If it didn't have a GitHub, then I simply didn't do it. So the first one was People Detector by Human Decoded. And this was sent to me, this was the first thing that was sent to me. It was sent to me like right after I announced project review. And it was kind of the backstory on this project is this guy had his car and his shed broken into. So he developed this piece of software that uses TensorFlow and some really basic ML to detect, given a group of pictures or a group of videos, whether or not a human was detected in those videos or in either pictures or videos. That's one of the cool things about the project is that it's kind of either or. So you could supply, basically what I did is I create a folder here called data, and I put a picture of dogs, a picture of traffic, so like dogs. And so we got cute little dogs here. Obviously these are not people. So, oops. How do I exit? There we go. Oh my god, how do I exit? Okay, so I got dogs, and then of course I got people. So I got a group of people. And I did this to kind of feed the system some different information. That way it could try to detect if a human is in this, in this group. So it's very easy to do. All you do is you use the people detect script, and then you supply the folder, which I've done with my run command. So you do Python 3 people detect -d for directory data, and in the data directory contains all the stuff it's going to be looking for. So I'll do run. Takes a second to run. It's loading up all its stuff using TensorFlow backend, and then what it does is it goes through each image or each video, which is what it's doing right now, and then it will give you output for each one as to kind of what is in there. So like you can see examining dogs, nothing, examining people, human detected in data people, and then examining data traffic, and then it found nothing. So it found humans in people, and that's exactly where, that's the only picture that had humans in it. So I thought that was pretty cool. This is kind of a cool project if you have, if you record all your video with like security cameras or whatever into a folder, and then you want to run this every now and again just to look through all the data. The other thing it does is it gives you a folder which gives you a summary of where it found humans. So like it gives you a text file that shows the log, and then it extracts the actual image of the person that it found. So it's actually a really cool project. It's actually something that I might use myself because I was looking for something. Obviously I'm building a security system. If I can stop lightning from destroying all my hardware, I'm eventually going to build a really cool security system that will detect, well, humans. So this is definitely something that I could see myself actually using. So thank you to Human Decoded for sending this in. It's a very cool project, and you should continue working on it. So next we're going to do is the car starter and garage door opener. So let me get my video stream going on here. See if we can make this work. So essentially, this was made by a longtime EMT member, Russian hacker. Of course, you've seen him in there. And really, what I'm going to do right now is I have a stream of his garage. Hopefully, it shows it here. So I have a stream of his garage here, and he made a couple of endpoints for me. So let me get those over here. So it's really just two endpoints. So what I'm going to do now is he created endpoints that allow for the opening of his door, the closing of his door, and then the starting of his car. So I should be able to do action open. I should be able to run that, and I should see this garage door coming up. So you can see it's coming up now. And that should expose his car. Now, I don't have a ton of audio here, so you might not be able to hear it, but you should be able to see the exhaust happening. So now I should be able to do car, and then action start. I'll run that. Hopefully we get some lights, some noise, something. I think it is running. Oh, there it is. You can see the lights on. So can't quite hear the audio. I can hear it a little bit. I don't know if I can turn it up. Yeah, I can't hear it very well, but you can see the lights are on. So, you know, the car started. I was able to start the garage and start the car over, you know, just using a simple HTTP client, you know, over the internet. So that's pretty cool. That's kind of a cool project. And I know one of the things that he's working on is creating an actual UI for it. Oh, sorry, Bank Birdstrom. Thanks a lot for the 100. I appreciate that. I know I've seen you on stream before a lot, so thank you for coming back and checking out what we got going on here. Longtime supporter, thank you. If you don't have the supporter role, please let one of my team members know in Discord, and we'll get you hooked up. So yeah, that's kind of it for that. I know he's wanting to make a UI for all of this, you know, kind of like a home control kind of UI. And you can actually see it, this camera is detecting squares and whatnot, so he has some stuff going on here as well that's doing some cool things. So I'm excited to see where this project eventually goes, and there's definitely a lot of potential for it. So thanks for saying that in. Actually, what I'll do is I'll close this door now. Action close. See if that works. Yep, there it goes. Perfect. So closing the door, of course, filling up his garage with exhaust now, but I'm sure he'll go and take care of that. And that's it for that project. Thanks a lot for submitting that. Very cool project. I'm excited to see where it goes next. Okay, so next project is a Blackjack project. Yeah, turn off the car first. I don't know if it actually. I don't know if it actually. Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna go and handle that. Don't worry. I don't know if there's a stop car endpoint, so I just closed it. Hit the start endpoint again. Never mind, I got it. Okay, so he's got it. So next project is Blackjack, submitted by HalfPint24, and this is kind of an interesting Blackjack. It's a weird take on Blackjack because it's not visual in nature, and it's all kind of text-based. It makes it a little hard to play, but it makes it also kind of unique. So I'll come over to this Blackjack folder. We're just gonna run this, and what he used here was a Java Swing GUI, which is a Java like. It's kind of like the Java equivalent of tkinter or, you know, WinForms, something like that, but it's supposed to be cross-platform. I don't know if he developed this on Linux, but of course it works on Linux just because Java, you know, wherever you write it, it works everywhere. So, you know, it basically tells you your hand and the dealer's hand, you know, mystery card, jack of spades. But the one thing I noticed is that if he has the suit of the card and the number of the card, then of course he could easily show a picture of that, and that would be an interesting upgrade from what's going on here. But nonetheless, you know, it says, do you want to hit or stand? Ace of Hearts. Oh, actually, that's interesting. This is actually I'm pretty sure this is 21. Ace of Hearts plus King of Diamonds. So I'll stand on that. You decide to stand. Okay, so slight problem with that. Like that should have been just a 21, and that should have just made me 1. But you know, you get the idea. And then everything is controlled by this actual kind of REPL interface. And you know, you can do help, you know, to get a list of commands. Tells you what you can do. Of course, hit stand, and it'll show you the rules. If you type rules, it tells you about Blackjack. And I should probably point out that a lot of these projects are sent in by younger people, people who are under the age of 18. And I thought, like some of these projects, I think this one was composed by somebody who's in high school. So it's kind of cool to see what younger people are producing, at their age, and it's just worth mentioning that because, I know I wasn't producing this stuff, when I was in high school. So it kind of cool to see what we're producing. For upgrades for this project, I think definitely add pictures. I think you'll have yourself a pretty sweet game. So thanks for sending that in. Half pint 24. I gotta just do exit. You've left the casino, and that's that. Okay, next project, and this is one of my favorites, and this is another less than 18-year-old person and a longtime team member, Yost, who is on Discord. I think he's been a team member now for about a year. He created what is called the Checkbox Party Pack, and it's kind of one of the coolest things I've ever seen because it's a bunch of games and utilities that are entirely based on the checkbox control. And he has so many games for this actually that he needed to create a launcher for it. And I think I need to actually do a virtual environment here. I think Python 3 m VM. I think I got to do that. Maybe not. I don't know how to do it. Let's see. I don't use Python that much. I gotta look at his documentation. Hold on. This was working when I started, but now it's not. I know it's Python virtual environment. I need to. Oh, it's just Python M. No module VM. Why? Oh, I gotta activate it. Source VM bin activate. Yeah, there it is. Okay, that's what I needed. There we are, now it's going. Okay, so this project contains a number of things, one of which is the, you got Tetris, you got Minesweeper, you got Snake, you got image to checkbox, and this is an extremely cool thing because it takes an image and then it represents that image as colored checkboxes. So like if we take that dog's picture, we can go to image check, we can do start. What it does is it asks us to pick a image. So I will go to the people detector and the data, and I'll pick the people. And then you can see that it makes a checkbox version of the actual image. And of course, it's kind of, it's only suggesting what is there. Obviously it's never going to be perfect because it's checkboxes, but this is actually a really cool thing. And he also has one for GIFs. Like you can feed this thing a GIF and it will give you an animated version of that GIF using only checkboxes. It's pretty cool. He also made Minesweeper, and some of these are non-trivial. Like Minesweeper is a non-trivial. You explode in 2 million pieces. I would like to play again. Anybody that's played Minesweeper knows that Minesweeper is not a trivial thing to make. So that's pretty cool stuff. There's also Tetris. You could play Tetris. Of course, I don't know how to turn the. Anyway, you get the idea. I don't know how to turn the piece, but you got Tetris. What else we got? We got Snake. And keep in mind that this is all based on. It's all based on checkboxes. Which makes it even more remarkable. So really good project. Image to check, GIF to check, Minesweeper. Oh, we got a Rubik's Cube. You know, this is certainly non-trivial as well. I mean, these are all non-trivial. Oh, E and Q to rotate. Okay, thank you. So, I mean, Rubik's Cube, non-trivial. Tetris, non-trivial. You know, Snake Game, that's easier. You know, but still not simple. So a lot of effort went into this. I know he's been developing this out for at least a year, and yeah, so pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. So I think we checked it out, all of it. Tetris, got display board. I think this is something new where you can configure it, you know, to like display a certain banner of text that goes across. And this is just a test sentence. So, but I believe each of these has configurations. So if I wanted to change it, I believe I can click the gear. Yeah, so I can do like Engineer Man. And I can do start. And then now it will write the, yeah, this has got so much better from the last time I saw it. Yeah, it really has. It's been adding a lot more stuff. You know, plus he's working on making it, you know, really performant as well. So yes, now I have a banner that says my name, and that's kind of cool. So I think that's all of that. I don't have a GIF to do with the GIF, but you know, we did them all. So definitely you can check this out. I'll put a link in the description, but it's the Checkbox Party Pack, and I suspect that if he comes up with newer ideas for things to make with checkboxes, then he will definitely make those. So very cool project. Of course, I don't know how do I deactivate my virtual environment? The answer is deactivate. Bam, done. Thanos, for New Year's Eve, chases food. Nice, thank you. I will give him that. I'll give him a big stick. Also, your project's coming up. We're gonna be checking that out shortly. Okay, next one is called the WhyDoTool by Harry Austin. And there is already a tool out there called XDoTool. And basically what this project is it's a derivative of XDoTool that doesn't actually use the X server to do inputs. So like right now, all Linux distros, or pretty much all of them, use what's called an X server, and that's responsible for actually painting what is on your screen at any given moment. But the other thing it can do, of course, is it can replicate things like input, you know, mouse clicks, keyboard clicks, and then various other actions. So, but it does so through that X server. And the WhyDoTool, from what I can tell, and here again, you know, a lot of these projects I'm only seeing for the first time. You know, WhyDoTool does it by way of taking control of the actual input device itself. And in that way, it doesn't actually require the X server. So there's not a whole lot to test really, but what I did is I created a thing called click. So like, you know, you can give it various commands. In this case, it's WhyDoTool click 1, and that will click the left mouse button. So if I put my mouse over something like settings, and then I run that click, you can see that it clicks the settings. So I'm able to actually replicate mouse actions without an X server. And I can also replicate actions for a keyboard and whatever else I want. So yeah, cool project. You know, if you're interested in XDoTool, then you'd probably be interested in WhyDoTool too, because it does it a different way. And I looked at it. It starts as a fork from XDoTool, but then he adds a bunch of extra functionality to it that improves on it. So it's not just a clone where he just sort of changed the letter or anything. So kind of cool project. I'm not sure if it's anything that I'd have use for necessarily, but I can see how some people would find this useful. So thank you for sending it in. It's a pretty cool project. A good derivative of an existing project as well. Okay, next one is keyboard. And not like B-O-A-R-D, you know, the keyboard, but, you know, being bored with the keys, so keyboard. This is a really cool one because it's an actual game. And so let me actually load this up and check it out. So all we're really looking at is the game itself. So this game has a single player mode and a multiplayer mode, and all it really is a typing game, but it has an actual backend. You know, it stores the results, and then all you really do here is you just, you know, type the passage. So to win without risk is to triumph, you know, without glory. So 96 words per minute, and then you could, you know, do a new passage or whatever. But here's what's cool about this project is it's actually multiplayer, which I thought was really awesome. So if I go to invite friends to play, then I get to pick my name, you know, like Engineer Man. I get to pick my color, my character, so I'll join. It creates the game room. It gives you a link to give to a friend. So I'm gonna open up just a private window. I'm gonna be my own friend. So over here, I get to pick the character that I want. So I'll be a shopping cart, purple shopping cart, and click join. And you can see that when it joined, now it's synced over to the other screen. And then when I click start game, you can see it does a countdown. And then now two people can type. If you type on this screen, you can see that the bike moves on the other person's screen. And then when you type over here, you can see the shopping cart moves on, oh, it just died on me. Okay, I must have clicked somewhere where I shouldn't have clicked. But anyways, the point is this is a real-time multiplayer typing game that allows two people to compete at typing, and it's actually it's very clean. It's extremely clean. Other than it just taking me away for some reason. I don't know what I clicked. I clicked something I shouldn't have. But anyways, so you could try this out. This is at keyboard.fun if you ever want to try it out. And maybe you can take on Engineer Man at a typing challenge if you think you can type faster than me. But pretty cool. It's got a little car. I like it. Oops. Restart. All life is an experiment. The more experiments you make, the better. 115. Wow. Okay. So that's the WPM to beat. So if you beat 115, you should post it in Discord and let me know. Check it out at keyboard.fun. Thank you for the project. Very cool. Very cool. I didn't actually have the code for this. I don't know if... Well, actually, he did send it. He sent me the code for the client, and he also sent me the code for the server, so it's totally open source. And you should be able to get access to it. I don't know why I didn't put that in there. So I will supply the code in the notes that so if you're watching the replay of this, then it'll be in here. But for right now, I don't have it. So thanks a lot for this project. I think it's Isan Leo, maybe? Is that how you pronounce it? But well done. You should keep working on this. It's very cool. Okay, next one is employee office status by, I don't know how to pronounce it, Bosi, something like that. And this is kind of a tool, I think, that was created to be a offline database for timesheets. So it's kind of like an office project sort of thing, but it's made with TK Inter, which I thought was kind of cool. So we'll run this. He had me as an employee in here. So it's, I will say that on a normal screen this looks fine. The problem is I had to scale everything up on my screen, that way everybody could see it. So that's why it's sort of weird. But the way it's intended to work is you type like, you know, destination home, and then you click, you know, out, and then it puts your time out, and then it stores this, you know, all this data is persistent. You know, so if I were to close this out, if I were to close it out and then come back in, you know, of course, all that data is still there. So it persists to a local file for whatever. And I guess this is something that's actually used. They use this for just basic time tracking. The other thing it does is it stores a history. So every time there's an in and out change, it stores that as a history. That way it can always be looked up kind of at the end. So pretty cool project. it would be, it's specific to people that need, kind of time tracking and need something locally. Then this would be something that you could check out. Yeah, the name. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting names. Barney R. Fred Flintstone. My name was already in here when I got this project, so I think Engineer Man name is actually baked into the open source version as an example. So I thought that was cool too. Okay, so that's that. Next one is, oh, what happened to my thing here? There we are. This next one is extremely cool, and I think he's on stream right now, Martin, and it's the LED Cube project. I know he's been working on this one for quite some time. What I have to show here is pictures of it. So let me find my picture folder. So we got some GIFs and we got some pictures. So let me find some of the design. Hold on. So essentially what he did is he created LED, like a grid of LEDs. And then I think the intent, and it's not fully done, but the intent is to create a cube out of this and then make it do, yeah, he's right there. So, make it do various things. So you could see that it has animation possibilities, in these couple pictures. There's the LED grid build. There's more images of that. So that's what it looks like in the dark. And of course, that's the Engineer Man E. That's obviously the best. So he wrote the E in the actual grid of LEDs. So that's really cool. I don't know what that is. So that's a, I think that's like a small prototype of the LED cubes. So that's really cool. And then he sent me some code for it. I think it's processing. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's all processing code, Arduino, something like that. My cube would be so crooked if I tried this. Yeah. So this is probably the highest effort thing I think I think that's been sent to me. Look at all those LEDs. Jeez. So many. It's a very, very cool project though. A lot of LEDs, a lot of work. Oh, that's a cool GIF. Very, very high effort. Oh, yeah, the red thing is the prototype. Okay, that's what I thought. So many wires. But that's what's necessary. That's what's necessary if you want to do things like this. I think that's the end of it. Very, very cool project. There wasn't a ton of code submitted, and I think that's just because I don't think it's fully complete in terms of code, so I'm not going to bother showing that. But I think it's processing. I think it's the code. Yeah, I think it's processing, but maybe not. He can clarify that in the chat if you'd like. But very cool project. Definitely the highest effort thing I think on here, and I think it's the only physical thing. The only physical development other than the garage door in the car. So pretty cool. Next thing is MPS Linear Programming Converter by Tanos A. And this is something that it's a very specific tool. I don't know how many people would have a need for it, but what I will say is it's very complicated. I took a brief look at the code. There's a lot of code that went into this. And the intent of this project is it's supposed to parse, I guess, MPS files into CSV files, which might seem simple, but this is one of those projects where it's designed to be a parser, and the parsing that it's doing is very complex parsing. And I found that out because the code's so long. Obviously, if you're parsing something simple, you can do that in just a couple lines, but with this, it's parsing very complex things. And what I did is, to run it, he supplied some examples in the input folder. So that's all I'm gonna run here. I'm gonna do run. The input file was like afiro.mps, the output was afiro.tables. So we'll just look at each of those. So the input file .mps, this is the input file, and here again, this doesn't mean a whole lot to me just because I don't use anything with this format, but it converts what you see here into its actual output version. And then now you have a CSV. And here again, the reason I wanted to show this project is because it's such a complex parser, and anybody that's done any parsing ever knows that making parsers is not easy. So, and I thought this was very clean. I guess it does a lot of files, does it very fast. So I thought it was definitely worth showing, and thank you for submitting it. It's written in Java. There's a few thousand lines of code at least that I saw, so very cool. Oh, absolute territory. Hey, engineer man, I'm going to be using your idea of blinking Christmas tree terminal and make a Raspberry Pi ornament with a tiny screen to put on my tree next year. That is fantastic. You should definitely do that. And then once you do that, you should send it over to me so I can check it out. Send it in Discord or just send it to me directly. Lethal dominate. The floor is Java. The floor is indeed Java. Yeah, for sure. But this is a very cool project that is in Java. Yeah, very nice parser. Okay, next one is, this was kind of cool. This is 2 games that were sent in to me by, I'm gonna screw this up, Aditya Chowdhury. I'm sorry if I screwed up that name. But 2 games that were sent in, Just Slide and Just Slide 2. And they're sort of, it's pretty basic games. Like I thought when I was looking at this game that I got something wrong about it, because, you know, like, all the game is you make the guy go in a certain way, and your whole goal is just to fill these squares. And I was thinking to myself that, well, that's sort of easy, because you could just, you know, cross on top, you know, you can cross over lines that you've already been on. And I didn't really understand where the challenge was, but then as I played it for several more levels to figure out, you know, does it ever get harder or whatever, it does in fact get harder, because it turns out the challenge is the fact that the little icon will just go across until it hits something. So I often found myself getting in a situation where I couldn't finish out, you know, one of the blocks. And then, as it turns out, that's where the challenge is. So, kind of interesting game. Here again, this is another I think early high school student who sent these in, and you know, the game's been played a lot. Like, it has 14,250 plays with an average rating of 3.5. So I know if I were in high school and I published a game, I would have been happy with 1% of that and a 3 rating. So kind of cool. He sent in 2 versions. He didn't say on the code, so I don't know what it's built in. I think it's probably JavaScript and Canvas. That'd be my guess, but I don't know exactly. And then he has several levels. Evidently, they do get harder. And then he has a second game called Just Slide 2, which is additional levels with some additional stuff. Oh, made with stencil. I don't even know what that is. Huh. So, you know, we got new things going on. I only got to level 2 here. You know, this has like a border, and yeah, you can see where this could be kind of difficult now. You know, trying to figure out, you know, like, how do I get that last, you know, little square in there? I'm not actually sure that I even know. See, I'm stumped. I'm stumped on level 2. I can't even do level 2. What on earth? So, anyways, that's his 2 games. I thought they were really cool, and you know, the artwork's kind of nice too. I thought that was kind of cool. You know, he he could have done this game very simply, you know, without any of the cool artwork and any of the cool assets, you know, but he actually put the effort in, you know, to make a very, you know, it's got nice visuals, it's got clean lines, you know, it's fine, it's cool. Keep making these games. I think one day you'll do really good things. So thank you for sending this in. I don't know if he's on stream, but I did send him an email, let him know that I was going to show his project. So perhaps he's on stream now to see it. Otherwise, he will. Yeah, level 2 throws in the towel. Yep, forfeit. Yeah, this is like forfeiting at 4 minutes 59 seconds. So cool. Thank you for that. This next one is probably the longest development one. It was one that I almost couldn't get working. I spoke to the author a little bit. It's Tachkoma, and it is a distributed messaging system that the author built in Perl about 10 years ago to deal with the fact that there wasn't a whole lot of good options. And I dug a little bit into this project. Let me open it up here. Let me log into the client. Okay, so I'm going to have to not be logged in as root for this, because the last time that didn't work. So let me not be root. Make it work. There we go. So I spoke with him about this a little bit, and I could see where this is the result of 10 years of development. It does a lot of things. It's a distributed database, it's a distributed messaging system, it's a distributed queuing system, and it also can do like a log aggregation and tons of different things. You know, you can add and remove nodes, you can move nodes, you can watch files and distribute them across nodes. There's so many different things you could do with this that there's no way that I could possibly cover it in 3 minutes, obviously. And I was assured by the author that it does a lot more than I see here, and he's right. So, but one of the things he did ask me to show was the like simple key value stores, and let's see if I can do that now. Let's see, I think it was in examples. Let me just do history here. Yeah, okay, so one was examples, topics, you know, so it can fetch, oh, it can store. Oh, I see, echo. So echo engineer man, examples, topics, store, we'll call it name, or topic 1 foo. Oh, I see. So that's the index. So we'll say like names em. Can't find topic. Okay. Anyways, not 100% sure exactly how to use it. You know, here again, you know, this was a project that was built for a very specific purpose. You know, it'd be very difficult for me to be a expert on it so quickly. So fetch topic 1 em. No, fetch topic 1 names. I don't know what I'm doing, but if I did know what I was doing, it would be working really well. Evidently, this is a project that's in a very high volume environment that's been being used now for about 10 years, and it's extremely stable. So yeah, it does a lot of, you know, does it cover secured end-to-end encryption? I'm pretty sure it does, because when I went to install it, when I followed the author's installation instructions, it did generate a bunch of private key, public key pairs. So I'm pretty sure that it does handle all that. I don't know if he's on stream right now, but I do have the project here. You could certainly check it out. It does a lot of things, and it's pretty cool. So have a look. You know, maybe it's useful to you, maybe it's not, but either way, this is definitely the most complex project that was sent to me, and it's the sort of thing where I would have to just, you know, experiment with it and make it work, and then eventually I could make it do things. Evidently, it is backed by some pretty well-known things like Apache Kafka and various other tools, so it makes use of those while keeping the front end that the author had intended for his specific use case. Okay, next is offline crates, and this is one where I didn't actually test it just because it does involve downloading a ton of crates, but the intent of this project, I'll just open it up, is, so crates is the Rust version of like NPM or, you know, CPAN, Maven, PyPy, all of that. So the author had let me know that he often has issues with his internet and periods of non-connectivity. So he created this essentially to create a mirror of popular things from crates.io. And in that way, he can then point cargo to use his mirror versus crates.io. And in this way, even if he has no internet at all, he could still use and depend on crates that would have ordinarily been on crates.io. Of course, if there is a package or a crate, you know, that he wants to use that his system did not download, of course he can't use that. But if he downloads, you know, a lot of the times, if you look at moduling systems, you know, moduling systems have a certain number of modules that just everybody uses all the time. You know, there's common things like JSON and logging and various things like that. And crates is no different. You could sort on crates to figure out exactly what the most popular ones are. So as long as you download kind of the top 10%, yeah, I'm on KUbuntu right now, testing on a VM. Just in case something snuck in there that's malicious. I don't think there's any malicious code here, but just in case something snuck in, it wouldn't harm my workstation. You know, plus I didn't like fully test all this, you know, beforehand. I just sort of looked at it briefly. But yeah, this is a cool thing. I could totally see this used in not only places that have bad internet, but places that maybe are being real secure, perhaps ones that just have a LAN and they don't actually have access to the internet. It makes sense that they would need a offline version to do this. And this isn't a new concept. You know, people do this all the time, including like with Ubuntu's app system. You know, you can create an offline mirror of that as well. That way you have access to apt install and whatnot, even though you don't have internet. So this isn't a new concept. However, it is new, I think, for Rust. You know, and it looks like this tool is built in Rust. So that's kind of cool. It's self-hosting. So kind of a cool thing if you have offline applications that you need to run and you don't have access to the internet and you want to create an offline mirror of crates.io. This is most assuredly a project that you ought to check out. All right, we got like 3 minutes left. We got one more project, so we actually have pretty good timing. We got one more project, and then I'll take about another 5 to 10 minutes of questions, and then we'll wrap things up, and that will be it for Season 2 Engineer Man live streams. So the last thing is Explorer by Kill Inefficiency. And this is another student in high school who made this. And while I'm not 100% entirely sure exactly what it does, it acts a lot like a database with a REPL interface. So, you know, when I log into this thing, it asks me for a password, which I've already set, it's just EM, and then it gives me a little command prompt here. And this is my REPL prompt. And when I asked the author kind of what sort of things I should do, he pointed me to the documentation, which I then read. And the documentation is actually very, very, very comprehensive. It goes over all the commands that this particular tool can do. So let me find that. Push, get mass, pop, move, sort mass, set, get cluster, rem, change count. You know, it does all these different things, and primarily what it's for is managing data in various ways. And I spoke to the author as well, and he says that there is a Python package coming that he's going to publish to PyPy, which allows people to integrate this in with their projects to utilize the underlying code that he produced to work with data in a little more complex way than what might be available through typical programming, you know, facilities like you'd find in Python core. So I didn't go into a lot of things on this, but briefly going through the documentation, I could see where I can push values, I can get values, I can move values around, I can do sorting, I can do counting, I can work with mathematical expressions, and a bunch of other things. So kind of a cool project. I don't even think I scraped the surface of what it can do, but I was interested enough to where I looked at it and I wanted to show everybody about this project. So the link will be here if it's something that you would like to check out. I thought it was cool that you can even change the expression of the command line. If you want it to be a winky face, you can certainly do that. So interesting amount of customization. Let me look at, okay, questions are piling up here. Let me have a look at these. That's it for the projects. So let me answer a few more questions and then we'll wrap things up here. Zamir asks, what do you think about data engineering in the near future? So I know that I need to move towards more data type things. I know that that's a topic that's on the forefront of a lot of people's minds. So I want to make sure that I service that, for people. So I know that probably if you're a long time subscriber of this channel, you know that there's really no databases videos that I've made. So I'm looking to change that, and I think I need to start moving in that direction. I want to show people some databases, how to work with databases, whether it's SQL, NoSQL, so on and so forth. So definitely in the future, be looking for that. It could come as early as next Sunday. Have you checked out MicroPython for programming microcontrollers? So I actually first heard about MicroPython when the Adafruit people came to my server to kind of say hi. I spoke with them, and they spoke to me about a product they have called CircuitPython, and I want to say that. Oh no, that's not that at all. No, their thing is CircuitPython. Yeah, their thing is CircuitPython. Have you checked out MicroPython for programming microcontroller? Yes. Yes. In fact, it was Russian hacker that I think showed me that. And I have checked it out. I haven't used it for anything just because I don't do a ton of microcontroller programming, that type of stuff. But from what I can tell, MicroPython is I think it's a subset of Python that has packages that are ported to this kind of MicroPython architecture. I think that's what's happening there, but don't quote me on that. Would you do a Linux module tutorial series? So I actually did. I did kind of a meme video, the Rickroll. You should definitely check that out if you haven't. But I developed a really basic kernel module that I think it introduces a block device that if you read from it, it just gives you the Rickroll type stuff. So even though it was kind of a stupid premise, it showed you how you can make a simple device driver. Essentially is what I did. I created a pseudo block device that I was able to read from as if it were like a device. So definitely check that out. How long have you been making a living on your own? Probably, I don't feel like I've had a real normal 40-hour-a-week job that I went to an office in probably 6 years. And even then, I only did that job for probably 9 months. And then prior to that, it's probably been 9 years, I would say. 8 or 9 years is probably how long it's been since I've had just a normal 40-hour-a-week drive to an office from 8 to 5 kind of job. And I'm glad that I'm not doing that anymore. I'm all set with that. Maybe videos about Docker best practices and tricks. So I already have two Docker. I have two Docker videos. One's called Docker Concepts Introduction, and one is called Docker Supercharge Docker with Docker Compose. So those two videos alone should get you pretty well up to speed on at least doing basic things with Docker. It's definitely not an exhaustive kind of Docker thing, and perhaps I do need to look at the gotchas, the best practices with Docker. But if you're just looking to learn about Docker basics, you could certainly check out those two videos. They are available right now, and you can check them out on my on my YouTube. I think we've reached the end. If there's any other questions, I'll do my wrap up now. If there's any other questions here, just drop them in. Okay, so as you know, this was the final video for the Season 2 of Engineer Man live streams, just to give everybody an update on kind of what's coming. Of course, there will be a Season 3, for sure. And just to like, the one thing we did differently from Season 2 is we came up with all the topics beforehand. So the reason I mention it is I'm going to be making a channel on Discord where people can give input on what kind of streams I should do for Season 3. And just like we did for Season 2, I'm going to do like 9 or 10 topics over 4 months. Yeah, 9 or 10 topics over 4 months. There will already be pre-scheduled. Topics will already be available. You'll be able to attend the ones that you want to attend, ignore the ones you don't want to attend. And then if you want some input on what I'm going to do, you got to be on my Discord. And because that's where we're going to do all the discussion. I'll make a channel. This was called Stream Planning SEP to Deck. I'll probably create one called Stream Planning Feb to July, something like that. Feb to June, something like that. And so there probably won't be a live stream for another about 5 weeks. It'll be however long it takes us to get the topics down. And it's very important that we do it that way. Otherwise, sometimes the problems with Season 1 live streams that I had a lot was, you know, it would come to Friday night and I still don't know what I'm doing for stream. I just didn't like that. You know, it put a lot of stress on me to produce something, and then it just ended up, sometimes it just didn't work out, and that's not fair to you guys. You know, I want to make sure that anytime that you see my face on the screen, I'm providing high quality content. You know, otherwise I'm not living up to what I'm trying to do here. So very important to be on my Discord and check out that channel if you want input. If you don't want input, then, you know, no need. You don't have to do that. But it's I want to make sure I'm producing content that people want to see anyways. So the best way for me to do that is for me to take input from people, and I'll be sure to do that. So that's kind of it. If there's no other questions, then this is it for Season 2. Thank you to everybody who's came to all the streams, who continues to return. Thank you to all the supporters who dropped me a few bucks here and there. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. And yeah, come to Discord and let's get these topics rolling for Season 3. And after the holidays are done, we'll roll back into it and get it moving. So, and Discord's not just for talking about these topics. You know, if you're not already there, you should definitely check it out because there's a lot of good activity going on there. I think we're close to 7,000 people, if not over. And hundreds of people are active at any given time. There's tons of channels, tons of data. There's been like a couple million messages sent on the server over the last year that it's been in operation. And there's just a lot of good stuff happening there. So if you want to chat with like-minded people, or if you want to chat with me, then that is the place to be. So other than that, I hope everybody had a fantastic Christmas and has a fantastic New Year and a fantastic rest of your weekend. And I look forward to seeing you on Season 3 streams and on my Discord server. So until then, I will catch everybody later. Take care.